Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast Deal Stories. I am Shalu Mitruka, co-founder at GrowthPal. In this podcast, we cover stories of successful entrepreneurs globally who have exited the business. And today I have with me Uttam Majumdar. He is the founder and CEO of Locuz. He recently sold his company to SHI International. Thanks Uttam for joining us. We'd love to know more about you and your stories.
Thank you, Shalu. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
Yeah. So Uttam, how are you doing today?
Doing very well. Thank you so much. It's been a great day so far.
Yes. So Uttam, can you tell us more about your background? What inspired to start Locuz?
Um, f- my education qualification, I'm an engineer. I started very early, as in I was about 25, 26 when I started Locus back in 2000. It's been 25 years of running this business. What inspired me was the fact that I was seeing business transformation would be enabled by technology transformation. Very early, I was intrigued by large systems, supercomputer class systems. I would visit universities and I was like, what are they doing in this very, very large systems? And I should do something which is in the deep tech space, enable transformation using technology, do security. I mean, these were things that was driving us back in the day. So that led me to starting Locus.
Now, recently you sold your company to SHI International. Was it something you were actively exploring to look at exit, or did the opportunity just come to you?
No, we've not been actively looking at selling the business. As in, Locus actually got once acquired in 2008 by
Okay.
a listed company, IT services listed company.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good acquisition. We loved the acquisition. We were on an earnout model. It had done three of the four tranches. Just when it was about to do the fourth tranche, there were issues with the business, financial
Okay.
issues rather. And then, we thought it was, for us as promoters, it was important to keep the business, run the business. We saw potential, there was growth in the business. So we kept the business, we kept it running. We were not integrated. I would think
Right.
that was also a good part of the previous acquisition. We apparently it was owned by the other company for about 10 years.
Okay.
It started at 2008 and 2018 is when we approached them and the board to buy the business back from them. So we
Got it.
had a cycle of selling, buying of our business. And
Okay.
then we did it because we knew, I mean, we were obviously paying premium for our own business. We knew that there was potential, there was upside to the business. We should bring it back. We were on a growth path. Everything was great about the business, and we thought we will. Whenever it again happens, it happens on its own. So yeah, as it might had to happen, we were approached by a bunch of them. We never had a banker for our business. As
Okay.
promoters, we never had a banker. Yeah.
Okay. So in 2024, you were approached by multiple buyers, you're saying, right? And SHI being one.
Yes, yes. We were in active conversation with somebody else also,
Okay.
just when SHI came in, and yeah, it had to happen that way. So we went with SHI.
And why do you think that was the right time? Like it was the right time last year for you to sell the business? Like what are the triggers that made you believe it's the right time?
Um, I think we had built a strong foundation in Locus. We reached a point where we had enough capacity, maturity in running the business.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with businesses and customers now wanting global reach, customers wanting faster innovation and partner businesses, it was very important for us to scale from
Okay.
where we had got ourselves postured. And we thought, if there is a strategic conversation, will we keep our doors open to any such conversation? And SHI was one of them. We saw there was super alignment with everything, and we thought, yeah, this is the business that we should integrate into.
So, how many potential partners did you speak with before saying yes to SHI, and why SHI? Like, what stood out?
Yeah, we spoke to a couple of them, at least four or five,
Okay.
and we were approached by all of them, of course. Like I said, we never hired any banker, us
Mm-hmm.
as promoters in Locus. Like I said, SHI is a very interesting business. I thought they were investing in a vision than just wanting to do something in India. That made us,
Okay.
really, really attracted to what SHI was coming in with. We saw super alignment. We had skills in HPC, which they thought was very important for a business. We were invested in operations facility in Hyderabad. Locus has been one of the oldest so-called security operation centers that built and matured over years. Likewise, our NOC, things that we're doing in the digital transformation space got them excited. And I always thought SHI came to invest in a vision, which is why we saw super alignment and everything that transpired between us in the conversations that got started between us and SHI.
Got it, got it. And what factors do you think made Locus attractive to SHI? Like one you mentioned is having an operations in Hyderabad, right? This gave them a very good offshore center in India. What apart from this do you think SHI got excited when they acquired Locus?
So SHI's business is quite similar to ours, but they're way, way larger.
Mm-hmm.
They're $16 billion business today. They're privately held.
Billion dollar, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Headquartered in New Jersey. They were similar to us. We were doing deeper services in some sense. They saw that, like they wanted to be in India. India was an opportunity nobody could afford to miss.
Okay.
And they saw there was an opportunity for them to start doing offshoring, build larger services capacity,
Okay.
also grow in India. They had
Okay.
large customers, big logos. They were their customers in the US, and those were expanding in India
Okay.
by way of GCCs, by way of their own other centers, research
Mm-hmm.
facilities, and it was imperative for SHI also to be servicing those customers even in India or
Okay.
beyond Americas. And that was their need to be in India. And then they wanted somebody to come with all that maturity, capability, processes, and running services, besides being
Mm-hmm.
able to fulfill infrastructure needs for those businesses. So it all worked very well. Like I said, we've similar businesses, but there are too many synergies. For example, they were never in the high performance computing space.
Okay.
And Locus being a leader in the high performance computing space, it made a lot of sense. They were investing in AI, and today high performance computing, like we see it in Locus, is actually going the AI way. So all
Okay.
AI systems are powered by high performance computing. So all of that came together, and yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So it also allowed them to cross sell your offerings to their current customers and then.
Absolutely. That was our reason to be acquired by. We saw that as a great reason. We had this whole capacity, this maturity in delivering services to customers, some of those niche areas. We were accelerating scientific research. We were enabling a lot of work in the engineering space, working with customer in the transformation. We thought we'd get more and more customers to experience what we bring to them through global reach.
Got it, got it. And Uttam, in when Lucas was there actively, like you guys have US customers or did you guys have Indian customers? Like how was that before SHI acquired you?
On our own, we were a very, very India focused business.
Okay,
We did have US customers. We were already servicing customers in the US. So that was another thing they also liked, SHI also liked. As Locus, about 80% of our revenues came from businesses in India. About
okay,
20% of our revenues back in the day came from customers in the US. And to all of these customers, we were only doing offshore services. We did not build a large on site capability because
okay,
that was our philosophy. We will go and work with customers to ensure that they're able to access a pool of people who are super skilled. We
hmm,
wanted to ensure that customers get the advantage of transformation from this talent pool, plus being able to
okay,
provide them capability around 24/7 basis. We did not want to be the cost player for those customers. We thought we should be the real transformation player, the innovation partner to those customers. And there were very few customers, but we were very, very successful with all
okay.
of those engagements.
And SHI, like a lot of buyers do I see, right? They want developed market customers like US, UK, right? So did SHI gain a lot of value from acquiring Indian customers also, or were it more of capabilities and teams that you had in India?
It was initially for capabilities. It was initially for all the maturity that we built with services and processes. But they will leverage all of this to ensure that so we are on a hyper growth right
Okay,
now in the business. We are putting SHI is committed to growing business also with customers in India, not just with offshoring and not
that's
just with
great. That's great.
GCC, their own GCC, but they're committed to growing business in India. So they're making those investments through Locus. They're making those investments by way of expanding the market within India, doing an outreach, bringing in new relationships that are very, very successful for SHI in the US. So they're leveraging those partnerships and making sure that India also becomes, a playground for expanding those relationships.
Got it, got it. And just wanted to dig deep on those other four potential buyers you mentioned, right? Like, what are the core reasons that you did not? I know you told us that SHI had the right vision alignment with you, but the other three, right? What went wrong? Like, why did you not go ahead with those three? Like,
No, I wouldn't say anything went wrong. Like I said, we were always open. We kept our doors open. We were encouraging conversations. That is also a very good way of, because we've been through a cycle of being acquired and then, bought our business back. So we know the importance of knowing the pulse of the market, being in situations that you're having these conversations. That's very, very important. But yeah, some of those conversations don't go beyond how you would want them to go, simply because some of them come for buying a piece of your business. Some of them
okay,
say, okay, I will buy this IP and these services piece, but not the other piece. It's valued well. There are opportunities. We could also keep parts of the business and allow them to acquire, but that wasn't making total sense. I think for us, always it was that integrated way of approaching customer problems, being able to be of service for them, let's say in availability, in performance, and security. Only then it made a lot of sense in those customer engagements. So we said, okay, we heard all of them. Some of them went to very late stages in the sense they started valuing, we had LOIs. But yeah, somewhere along the way, we thought, something was amiss. And you get that sense, right? Something is amiss. Yeah. So yeah, and then SHI happened. Yeah.
yeah. Generally, people say there's no perfect marriages in M&A, right? But I see it's a perfect marriage here.
It is, yeah. We are super excited. As is promoters, me and Vijay are like very, very happy that this it has gone the SHI way. Yeah. And
Nice.
also for our rest of the leadership, it is also about stability in the business. It is also about growth for people in the business. There are people, the team that works directly with me has been around in Locus for an average of 15, 17 years. It was very important to keep that stability in the business. It was very important for us to ensure that we can scale the business and bring hyper growth by way of ensuring these people come to contribute in different ways.
Got it. No, it completely makes sense, right? So, can you tell us, Uttam, in this space, how are deals structured? Like, what are the best practices? What founders can see?
Um, our earlier structure was a simple earnout structure, which I thought was very good. It gave us opportunity to prove by way of performance, and also gives the acquirer an opportunity to look at who's come in and what are they bringing as value year on year. I thought that was good. Apparently, this wasn't like that. It was I wouldn't say it was in all cash, but it was as much as all in cash with some portion of earnout, a very small portion of earnout. But this is also very interesting. This has its own advantages vis-a-vis that. So I think that that's going to be the way in our segment acquisitions will continue to happen. Uh, I would think a larger piece of earnout is how acquisitions might happen. Also, because for many businesses in India, there's a lot more that they should do before they're out there to be positioned for being acquired.
Okay. And
And
can you tell
and
us?
it's comfortable for an acquirer to go through all of that in an earnout model.
Got it, got it, got it. So, let me ask you one more question, right? This is a tough question. A lot of people believe that they left money on the table. What was your experience? Do you think you could have done something different to get more value for Locus?
You can take the last bit of everything if you wish, but if there are more things coming along the way, like I said, rewarding careers for people, super business alignment, stability,
Hmm.
those things value more to promoters. I'm sure, and that must be the case with other promoters too.
Oh, yeah.
If you go after that last drop, I don't know if it makes so much sense, but I don't think we've been through that. We never had a sense of leaving something on the table. and
Got
neither
it.
in this transaction or even in the previous transaction.
Nice, nice. This is good to know, Netam. Yeah. So now let's move to advice to other founders. So Netam, a lot of people come to us and they ask for advice who want to sell their companies in 1 to 2 years, right? So founders who want to sell in the next 1 to 2 years, what are the different advices you would want to share?
Keep your books clean. Number
Okay.
one. Do mocks. Bring in, if you have friends, and for example, I'm advising another friend of mine who
Mm-hmm.
wants to sell his business in next 2 years. The kind of experience I take into his organization today is very, very valuable for him.
Mm-hmm.
He can crunch time. He's able to set up things very, very differently. Do such mocks. Even if you are, I mean, that preparation is very important. I would think they should prepare. Keeping books clean is one very important thing. Build leadership, a leadership that is passionate, the leadership. So that becomes very, very important factor. Like I keep thinking, when acquirers come in, they're actually buying into a vision. So
Okay.
one should be able to uh, build that leadership, have their books clean, have done those mocks, and then have very clear vision. They have clear purpose in their business. The promoters also should have very clear purpose for
Okay.
themselves beyond being able to do the transaction. That becomes extremely important. I think if you put these together, that's my advice. If you put these things together, it will work.
Got it. And can you tell us more about mock-ups? Like this is the first time hearing somebody telling about mock-ups. So if you can dig deep more on that.
Yeah, we did this. So I, I use the word mock-up. So I was telling this friend of mine, assuming that, she was not wanting to sell her business. And let's assume, in 2 years, you want to sell your business. Are you prepared? Can you give me, yeah, your EBITDA terms today, sustainable EBITDA beyond the time that it gets acquired?
Okay.
She was like, no, no, I have no clue for doing any of this. I said, yeah, that's a mock-up. Let's behave like, I'm coming to acquire your business. I
Okay.
want you to be prepared in that way. So we got her to do that. For her, a lot of things was very, very new. You and business, when they, for example, our own business, when we were in those stages of doing CPs, and see, it was very, very interesting learnings for us.
Got it.
We took those learnings into this friend's organization. We said, yeah, let's try all of this, and it's going to make a lot of sense. Yeah, there was no real buyer.
Yeah. So I would say then there are three key things, right? One is to keeping the book very clean, having a very strong leadership team across all the departments, right? And the third thing is to prepare, like, keep all the metrics, all the numbers on hand so that when you have a real conversation, you're just waiting and digging out and cleaning those numbers.
Plus purpose, the business purpose and the promoter purpose.
That's right. And what is the one non-negotiable thing that you believe one should look at when they're looking to sell the company? Like if I'm choosing a buyer, I may be open to adjust multiple things in terms of valuations or not periods, department roles, right? But what do you think is the most one thing that is non-negotiable?
Um, I would think, they they wanting to do a lot of disruption in the business uh, is not a thing, because then you then don't get the ROI very clearly. That's
Okay.
my sense. Uh, don't come in with a mindset of disrupting everything. I will bring somebody who's going to lead this business.
Okay.
I think culturally, we also buy into cultures when we do go into transactions like this. We are buying into each other's cultures. So there will be cultural disruption, there will be business disruption. I don't think that should be the mindset. Things like that can happen at a certain time when it is more needed for the business growth and scale, but that will not be a right way to approach a transaction.
Got it, got it. No, it completely makes sense, right? And a lot of people keep asking us when is the right time to sell because they get a lot of inbound interest, right? So, what do you think is the right time for founders to sell? At what scale, stage, anything? Yeah.
I would think if one has built a solid foundation
Mm-hmm.
and you are at a point where you need to get global reach, access,
Okay.
fasten your cycle of innovation. And if you're finding gaps in doing any of those, is the right time. Is the right time to bring in a partner who can bring some strategic vision, can bring you that global reach. that scale is the right time to do the transaction.
And can that come at all the stages, like between 5 to 10 million revenue, or 10 to 20, 30 to 40? Because people get confused. Like, should I wait till I reach 30 million revenue, or should I
No,
wait?
no, I don't recommend that. It can be in any stage.
Okay.
We were building products, for example. We were investing in our own engineering, in our own products, and we fell short of things that were very important to doing those investments. So it can be at any stage,
Any stage.
and promoters know it very well. Where do they see those hurdles?
Okay.
If you're seeing that it is coming on your way of doing innovation, maybe it's a time,
Okay.
because today's customers demand faster innovation. They
Mm-hmm.
want digital acceleration in their businesses. They can't afford to have partners who are not participating in that sense of acceleration. So it's very important that I mean, if I realize that there is something that's not working well for us, or getting access to customers in a very different way,
Got
one
it.
should go and do this.
No, this is very interesting, Uttam, like because I've seen a lot of people get confused and then they're just lost. I believe in your case, you had a previous experience of selling a company, right? So you had those learnings with you as compared to other promoters who are doing it for the first time. Yeah.
I,
So
I I would think, yeah, that did play to our advantage.
yeah. So then a lot of people, I would say especially in IT services and cybersecurity, get a lot of inborn interest and they don't
Mhm.
respond to that, right? So do you think you should respond to an inborn interest? Which type of request you should respond to? So what's your advice in that?
I would say you should. One
Okay.
should respond to it, not because you want to go into a transaction immediately after that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's always useful. It's always very helpful. The kind of question, and different businesses have different postures. Somebody who comes in has a different reason to acquire you. Another one comes in, they have a different reason to acquire you. But all those different reasons are useful to us as promoters, because that's then helping us articulate or fix things that are not working so well in the business, or if we've not thought through those things in our business, you start to work on those ideas and on those requirements of your a time in transaction.
Got it. Got it. No, it completely makes sense, right? But a lot of promoters say if I start responding to these inbound interests, it's taking my bandwidth. And as a promoter, for me, the main thing is to do sales, right? So how do you guys manage the time it takes to manage those inbound requests as compared to running your business day to day? So what's your advice on that?
So this is part of the preparation. If my investor deck is ready, my investor pitch is ready, what is the harm? I prepare investor pitch. There will be revisions that I need to make. I don't think that's going to consume a lot of time. If your books are clean all the time,
Mm-hmm.
you have good auditors, then you have nothing. And if you, in your investor page, even if you had to build a plan program, which needs to mask a lot of information, you need to do that once and have revisions, and then have versions of that which can go out. I think one needs to have that preparation. If you have a plan, even if not in 1 year, 2 years, even if in 4 or 5 years, you should always do that.
But this completely makes sense, Uttam, right? So, one last question in the advice to founders, right? Every founder wants to get the maximum value of the deal, right? So, what are the top four, five things a founder should look at from the parameters or metric standpoint to get the maximum valuation in the market?
um, you have to be well researched. You need to be talking to your peers. Don't start thinking that you're going into a transaction and it's a top secret. And I mean, you don't have to reveal everything about a transaction, but it's very important that you need to know what's happened in the other transactions. You should be open to calling friends and people, peers, competitors,
Mhm.
talking to them, looking at what's happening in the global environment. There can be parts of your business which might need to get valued very, very highly, versus some parts of your business that may be at an average value. But how do you extract that value for that piece of business which
Is
needs
it
to be valued higher than the others? So you should get a sense. You should do your research. You should have. Everyone has friends in the industry. Everyone can make friends with people like you, just so that you get a sense of what's happened with previous transactions, and then apply that when you go into your own engagement and transaction.
Got it. And is it true, Uttam, like a lot of people say me that if you have enterprise clients, you're valued more. If you have more clients in one sector or one capabilities, you're seen as more attractive asset to the buyer, right? So from that perspective, because I see a lot of founders in the early journey, they have customers all over the world, all over the scale and size. They have customers in all the industries, right? And I've seen a lot of buyers choosing sellers which are more focused, maybe in one capability, one industry, one customer. So do you think these metrics also play into role when you are selling your business?
Yes. See, customer domain understanding does play a role. Like I said, a lot of times it is also about you having components of your business that need to get highly valued. There can
Okay.
be components of your business which will be averagely valued, and that's the industry average. But what is the reason that some components of your business should be highly valued? Simply because you're bringing deeper domain knowledge, deeper domain
Okay.
understanding of the customer, which is the reason why a component. So we do that in Locus, for example, with HPC. We bring a lot of domain capability, domain understanding. That's not something all our peers and competitors today are in the industry are doing. We
Mhm.
would value that as a component which should be valued very differently from how rest of the business is valued. So there are always businesses which, I mean, for business that existed for long enough, but if there are businesses which have not existed for long, they've been a few years into business, they've built niche, they've built a very industry specialized offering. They have, I mean, they will be very suitable to some strategic buyers who want to penetrate, who want to grow in a
Okay.
domain. So, yeah, all kinds of transactions take place, but it's also about upon the acquirer to see what are they buying, and if that's such a niche scale, if this their need to build something like that is going to be taking much longer time, way expensive. I think that's where the valuation games start playing out.
And as a seller, I should know like this buyer can value this most in me, right? That's the gap he has, and that is something I can put in that business.
Honestly. Yeah.
Just curious, why did you not choose a banker? Like everybody goes for a banker when they're at certain skill and size, right? So what made you decide that let me do it myself and not go via banker route?
Uh, no, we were not out to
Mhm.
sell ourselves. So, which is why, reason one why I didn't. When the transaction was happening, we saw that SHI had a banker. We had also gotten our lawyer for legal purposes, but we were able to negotiate the transaction ourselves. Also because of our previous experience in being in a transaction, but I won't recommend that to everybody. Yeah.
Got it. I think experience, like bankers do bring some experience, but if you have it, why not? Yeah. So I think this is great, Uttam. Let me come to the last part of the podcast is life after the deal. So now you're a part of SHI. How does it feel internally, right? Like things may have changed. So what's your goal? What do you want to achieve in the next 3, 4 years? Where do you see yourself?
It's been super exciting. It's been the momentum that we've built in the business after acquisition by SHI. That momentum is super good. We all love it. My leadership team loves it. We want to bring hyper growth. You know, SHI has come to this country with a purpose. We want to ensure that that purpose is totally met. We want to build this business 5, 6 times bigger in the next 2 years. We want to build a capacity which is able to service customers both in India and in the US or other parts of the world where SHI wants to develop their markets. We would want to be that capacity. We would want to be that global center which is servicing those customers on a 24/7 basis. Bring innovation, bring super capability. Cliched, but yeah, we would use AI like technologies, leveraging on that capability. We want to leverage on our own knowledge of HPC and AI that is enabled by HPC in providing services to our customers.
No, that's great, Uttam. This looks like a perfect marriage, and I'm happy that you guys got a good deal. And I look forward to hearing more growth stories from you, maybe after 4 years and what you've achieved. But thanks for all the insights that you have shared with me and my audience, and look forward to staying in touch with you.